Hi everybody, welcome to another video. So this is similar to one I did not so long ago, but what I didn't realise is that there would actually be quite a few people that wanted to know whether the new cap fits on the old gun and works well on the new gun. Now I know it would because everything is the same, but I hadn't actually tried it. So the purpose of this video is to show you the process of swapping them over and to show you that each item is the same, exactly the same. The only thing that is different is the outer bezel, as I said in the other video, and the center of the cap. So the working part of the cap in the middle is different. Just because they've made them slightly different, but you can retrofit, and that's the whole idea of doing this video and showing you this bit here. Everything else is the same. The gun body is slightly lighter by, I think we established, about 15 grams, 16 grams, which you can actually notice in the hand, but it's not a huge amount. But just doing this video to show you that everything is exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we'll run through the pieces here, which we are here. You can see the needle is exactly the same. The tip set, the part number for the tip set is exactly the same on the 4600 Xtreme as it is with the new gun, which is just called the 4600. We're going to take the center of the caps out now, and this is the bit that actually matters, but they have exactly the same sealing ring on the inside of the bezel, so it will fit on the outside of the cap, or the cap center, if that makes sense. There's a small sealing ring in there. That's exactly the same. They have two, this sealing ring here, that ring's exactly the same. So it's purely the outside of the bezel and the center of the cap. So in answer to people's questions, have you actually retrofitted the cap, the new cap, to the old gun and tried it? The answer now is yes, I have. And the answer is it works just as well as the new gun or the old gun, depending which way you want to look at it. So if you bought a new cap, and I'll put a link in the description to the different caps. People will know with Sagola, I often buy my Sagola in Spain, because we're fortunate enough to have a family place there, and I go there quite often. And I managed to get Sagola stuff at a reasonable price, simply because it seems to be cheaper there. And the idea of, you can see here where the thickness of the caps, the size of the center, the diameters of every component is exactly the same. You can see there the depth of the inner part of the cap is exactly the same. The two small baffles, which aren't actually used in the DVR Clear Cap, but the baffles that you see me holding there are exactly the same. So everything works exactly the same. So you can counterfeit either way, whichever way you want to go. Even the circlip is exactly the same on the new one as the old one. But going back to what I was saying about buying the stuff in Spain, for some reason these are available, but they're very few and far between, and they don't seem particularly cheap. So I actually bought this gun from Sprayguns Direct, and one of the good things about Sprayguns Direct is they keep all the different caps. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description to the gun if you want to see that link, but I'll also put a link in the description to all the new caps. So the caps for the new 4600, which if you do the process we're doing now, and just there on the top left you can see actually the inside of the gun, the diameter of the holes, spacing of the holes and everything is exactly the same. So literally all I've done is shaved some weight off of the body and changed the cap. So I'm entitling this video turning your old Sagola into a new one, and literally all you have to do is change the outer bezel and the center of the cap to make your old Sagola into a new one. So you remove the new outer cap or bezel and just take the center out and put it into the center of your old cap, or your old bezel, and you then effectively have a new Sagola. It fits perfectly well, it works perfectly well, it sprays exactly the same. And what we'll also do is we'll do a pattern test here. We'll do a bit of spraying in this video, but we do a pattern test so that you can see that the pattern is exactly the same, and we can see that it actually sprays okay. The idea is we just spray this wing, or fender as you call it in the US. We just spray this and you see that we get a very, very good finish. So this is the Pro Cap. They now call it the DVR Clear Pro Cap. And the idea of the Pro Cap is to gives you a slower or less output than with the DVR Clear Cap. So if you're used to the DVR Clear Cap, the idea of the Pro Cap is to give you a slightly flatter, slower finish. So it uses slightly less material, or it puts out slightly less material. I don't think overall it actually uses less material, but it puts out slightly less material, which means it's effectively a slower gun. But people like it if they find the DVR Clear Cap too fast, and the Sagolas are very fast. People like the Pro Cap because it does slow it down. It seems to give you more control, especially if you mate it with a 1.2 XL cap, which is what we're using here. The idea is that the 1.2 XL, I've always found, probably gives the best finish with the Titania Cap, the Titania Pro Cap, or as it is now called, the DVR Clear Pro Cap. It tends to give a better finish, and that's true for the old model of cap, and it's true for the new model of cap. But I'm effectively doing this just to prove that it can be done. So we're mixing up the clear coat, mix it up in our normal way so that you can see that everything's done in the normal way that I do absolutely everything. And what we do is we'll do a spray out so that you can see that the two fan patterns are exactly the same. As I say, there's a link in the description, so if you want to effectively change your old Sagola into a new Sagola, or just ordering up a cap, which isn't cheap. I mean, the caps aren't cheap. In fact, they're quite expensive, really. I think they're about 100, well, they're about 100 GB pounds plus the VAT. Now, I know in the US, if you order these things, you can get them without the VAT because it's an export order. And if it's an export order, it doesn't actually incur VAT. So it's up to you, really, whether you think it's actually worth it. But as I say, when I first did the video, I thought I might get 1 or 2 people asked, but I got 2 or 3 people, I think you'll see on YouTube. I got a couple of messages on Facebook, and I probably got about 5 messages from different people on Instagram saying, have you actually tried it? Have you put the caps on, actually used it, tried the pattern, which I hadn't. When I first got the gun, I did the unboxing, effectively an unboxing video, and I'd already looked at the cap and the gun and everything and knew that it would be interchangeable. So I knew what I was saying was correct, but I couldn't hand on heart say to people, yes, I have tried it and it works absolutely fine, which I can now. And the idea is that you can see me doing it. So what you'll see now with the gun prepared in the normal way is we're spraying a normal high solids clear coat, my normal U-Pole high solids clear coat. It doesn't have to be particularly good quality for this. But what we're doing is we're using, this happens to be a digital version, but we're using the original Xtreme 4600, but it has the outer bezel of the original 4600 because the thread is actually different, but it has the center of the DVR Clear Pro Cap. So the idea of it is that it should spray exactly the same as the new DVR Clear Pro 4600, which you'll see it does. And then what we do once we've done this, we just do a spray out so you can see the pattern. We're just going to spray this wing, just put a bit on this wing so that you can see the sort of finish you can get. And then at the end, what I'll do is I will basically retrofit the center of the cap back onto the new gun. So we've got an entirely new gun, and we'll just do a spray out on the pattern so that you can see that the pattern is the same. So this is with the, as you can see there, this is with the Pro DVR Clear Cap. You get perfect sealing on the gun. You get a good pattern, the same pattern as you get from the new gun with that particular cap on it and that particular size needle. As I say, this is 1.2 XL, and you'll see here that the gun actually sprays perfectly well. It's a very, very good gun, always has been a very, very good gun. So you're getting no adverse effect whatsoever for fitting the new type cap onto the old type gun. But what you are doing is negating the need, really, and I'm sure Sagola won't like me for saying this, but you are negating the need to buy a new gun. Unless you really need one, you can make your new gun, your old gun perform just like your new gun. And I will give it to them, with the Pro Cap, I've been doing a few back-to-backs with the original Pro Cap and the new Pro Cap. Yeah, I just call them Pro Caps because they've got different different names at the start. One's a DVR Pro Cap, which is the new one, and the original Pro Cap is called the Titania Pro. I've been doing side-by-side tests, and it's very, very difficult to tell, and any differences are quite small. But I would say that the new DVR Clear Pro Cap does spray slightly better. It does atomize slightly finer. So it probably, if you are looking for that last little bit, it's probably worth doing, probably worth buying a new cap, which is, let's face it, much, much cheaper than a new gun. Obviously, if you're buying a new gun, you won't be able, well, you can still buy the old guns at the moment, but if you're buying a new gun, you might as well buy the new gun because you get it slightly lighter as well. But it's perfectly possible for very reasonable money to convert your old 4000 Xtreme into the new gun. So now all I'm doing is swapping the guns around. I'm actually taking the tip out and the needle out just so that you can see they do fit and work in each other, but it's also because the size is exactly the same, so that it gives you a proper pattern comparison. Because if we put, say, a 1.3 XL, you would probably get a bigger pattern, or you should get a bigger pattern, because there's just more material flowing through. But what you'll also see when you see us doing the spray out on this, you'll see that the pattern on the right hand side, which is effectively the complete new gun, is darker. That's not because there's more material being released through the gun, it's simply because at the back of the paper, this is a brown masking paper, it's actually darker underneath that point. So if it looks like it's a darker spray when you see this in a second, you will, it's not actually more material, it's just the fact that the underneath is darker. I can assure you that both of these work exactly the same, whether that new cap is on the old body or the new body. So for all those people that asked, and as I said, there was about 8 or 10 different people that asked whether I'd done it and whether I tried it, I felt I needed to do a video just to bring you up to date and to show you that yes, it can work, and it will work all the same for all the other caps. The Aqua Cap, I think they call it an Aqua Cap now, the new one. They still got a DVR, a Clear Cap, they still got a DVR Clear Cap. All those caps will interchange and work with each other. So what I'm doing here with just the Pro Cap will be the same for all the other caps, including the HVLP cap. And as you hopefully saw early in the video with the little sub video on the left hand side, you can see all the holes in that are exactly the same. They flow the same amount of air, so when you change the gauges over on these with the same cap on there, the amount of air drawn through the gun is exactly the same. And that means that they are actually drawing the same air. So as far as I'm concerned, both of these guns are exactly the same, bar that little cap. So we just did a final spray out now. So what we've got now, as I say, is the complete new gun, and we just compare it to the pattern of the old gun. But as you can see, everything works perfectly fine. So if you want to upgrade your old gun to a new gun, then literally all you need is the cap. And as you'll see in a second, it looks slightly darker once the clear coat soaks through the paper, because if you can see just right at the top there, just above the little bit of paper, you can see that it's actually got another coat of clear underneath that, which is why it looks dark. When you see it in a second, it looks darker. But there's a few nibs in this, but you can see the finish. It does a perfectly good finish. So this is the old gun with a new cap. So definitely worth changing if you fancy it. And apart from, as I say, the pattern being darker, the patterns are exactly the same. So go ahead and do it, because it is worth doing, and it's not particularly expensive, and you don't need to buy a new gun. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching them as always. And if you are enjoying them, maybe think about a subscription and a thumbs up. Cheers, bye bye.